a round table to learn a little bit more about you all. I think we're not that many today. So I'm just gonna say your name and just introduce yourself, say where you're coming from, where do you work, and what you're hoping to learn today or through this program. So let's start with Christian Guardia.
Hi, I didn't want to be the first one, but I guess that's my luck. So my name is Christian Guardia. I run the innovation department for Antalis, which is a Japanese-owned company. Mm-hmm. And we're in the midst of a digital transformation attempt. I wouldn't call it a project yet, but it's mm-hmm. our focus for the next year. We're doing a couple things already, and I guess what I'm trying to learn is what are the mistakes I should avoid? What are the main issues that I should tackle, and what should I focus on?
Thank you.
And I'm based in Chile, by the way.
Awesome. Welcome.
Thank you.
Next one, Daniela Weidman.
Hi, good afternoon. So I'm Daniela Weidman. I'm based out of Eindhoven in the Netherlands, and I'm leading a global digital transformation for DLL that is with the financial institutions. So we do have several members of DLL here just to capture insights and also to check what's happening in other industries.
Awesome. Welcome from the Netherlands. Next one, Bart. Let's see if I pronounce his last name well. Werkamp. Something like that. I think you're muted, or I can't hear. Oh, well, no worries about it. If you want, we can skip and you can introduce yourself via chat. Maybe there's some glitches with the audio. Matthew Moore.
Yep, Matthew Moore, also with DLL. Running our global CRM program for the organization as part of our digital transformation. Mm-hmm. For me, the last several sessions or this course is really about, as Daniela said, bringing in information into the organization, and in part for me is validating, I would say, our thoughts and our approaches to ensure that we're on the right track and that we're not missing anything, and continue to go down a path that will lead us to success.
Awesome. Fantastic. Welcome, Matthew.
Thank you.
Next is Julia. Boris Bullets.
Hi. Hi, Chantal. Hi, everyone. Hi. I'm based in London. I'm a strategy and M&A consultant, primarily specializing on the sectors of education, business information, and business media and events, which have all been disrupted to quite a large degree by the current. And so I'm here to learn about kind of best practice in digital transformation and any frameworks that kind of apply, all very topical.
Fantastic. We'll cover definitely a lot of those, so welcome.
Great.
Awesome. Next one is Sasha Appels.
Hi, Sasha Appels here from the Netherlands, working also within DLL, responsible for Western Europe, digital lead in there. For me, it's learning to become a more customer-centric, problem-solving, agile company, and what we can learn from all the companies we have in the last 4 days. So that's what I'm looking for.
Fantastic. Yeah, we're definitely going to cover some of that. Welcome. Devendra Alim, I don't see your full last name, but Devendra.
Hi, Chantal. My name is Devin. I go by Devin or Devendra, anything is fine. I'm in Silicon Valley next to the Tesla factory in the heart of Silicon Valley. So I'm into cloud engineering. I'm a full stack engineering expert, working as a head of engineering through the consulting company called like Salon right now. And obviously very strong on the engineering side, the full stack expert, but I'm trying to learn more on transformation, actually get better on transformation. That's what I'm here. Good to meet you.
Absolutely. Good to meet you as well. That's great to have also engineers. It's great to open up your like the things that you're interested in and you learn. So that's awesome.
Yeah. Thank you.
Awesome. Welcome. Roman next.
Hello guys, my name is Roman and I'm working as a financial officer at a company who's responsible for, let's say, debt collecting. We're working with big companies who in different complicated situations and they don't have money to pay for their debts. And our task is to recover them, to make them more profitable, to start servicing their debts. And my goal was to get more information about digital transformation or changes which I can apply in my job with all these companies, how I can understand how we can help them to increase their cash flow or to change their management system or something else, how to change them and make them more operational excellent than they are right now. Thanks a lot.
Awesome, fantastic. And where you're coming from?
From Moscow, Russia.
Russia. Awesome, welcome. You guys are from everywhere in the world. That's awesome. Awesome. So next one is JR. I believe I don't see the name, so.
Okay, hello everyone. JR stands for Jose Ramon. My name is Jose Ramon. I am from Mexico. Mm-hmm. I am the Chief Information Security Officer of a financial services institution. Mm-hmm. And I would like to know more about digital transformation to align the security strategy to digital transformation strategy.
Awesome, welcome. Next one is Why Susie? Or that's the username.
Hello, yeah, it's Guillermo. Susie is my last name. Okay. I'm also from Mexico. I work with Jose Ramon. I'm part of Afore 21 Banorte, one of the main pension fund administrators in Mexico. Mm-hmm. And we're part of the Digital Transformation Office. So, well, of course, we're interested of listening different perspectives and different interpretations of digital transformation and especially innovation to see what we can add to our own journey.
Awesome, fantastic, welcome.
Thank you.
What about Ashta Singh? Oh, that's from the organization, okay. Silvio Faustino?
Hi. I'm sorry. Yes, Silvio Faustino. Let me just put the video. Sorry. I'm from Angola, Africa. I work at a company, an incubator. What we're trying to do, what we actually doing here in Angola, is bringing innovation in the entrepreneurship. My expectations for this course is to learn as much as possible, so that we can pass on all these insights to all the other startups that we work with.
Absolutely, we're definitely gonna get some of that. Hopefully it is valuable for you as well. Welcome.
All right. Thank you.
Next one, RBM.
Hi, I'm Rodrigo Becerra. I'm also with Jose Ramon and Guillermo. I'm the Chief Digital Officer for the largest pension fund in Mexico. And with financial services, you know, we're always looking to be updated on what's going on in terms of the digital experience, the digital transformation. So it's been great to hear all these experiences and try to find best practices that we can apply here.
Absolutely. We're definitely going to cover some of those. Thank you. Welcome to you as well, Rodrigo.
Thank you.
Uvarav, do you want to introduce yourself? Oh, I think you're muted.
Yeah, I'm Yuvraj from Chennai, India. I run a chain of mobile showrooms. So we have almost 400 mobile showrooms across South India. So we are a retail chain. We are like Carphone in UK. So we are similar to that. So we have 3,000 people working in my company. So I think after Amazon, everyone entered. So today world is totally different. right? So today the world needs entire digital transformation. So we have started our own website and we've started doing some shopping, e-commerce. So we want to make it big. So we want to do lots of digital transformation into the company. So so that's why I've taken this course to know a little more knowledge so that I can grow my own company.
Absolutely. Well, big company. Welcome.
Yeah.
Next one, A. Leal.
Hi everyone, I'm Alejandro from the same company, RBM Isusi ER. I run the innovation and IT department. We are running our digital transformation as my partners said. And also as our goal is to learn from the other experience of the companies and the experts. Thank you very much for these sessions.
Absolutely. Welcome to you as well. Mireille? Oh, it seems it's not working. Maybe Freddie Valle?
Yeah, hello. Hi, my name is Freddy Valle. I work with Rodrigo, A. Leal, and JR, and Y. Susi, right? I work in the same company, and I am the IT architect manager in that company. So we are currently facing a lot of issues because we are in a very regulated company. So we are trying to approach these new technologies, and we are currently working in how we are going to support the new business processes that we are developing in the company. So thank you very much for this opportunity to stay with all of us.
Absolutely. Welcome to you as well. Subarao?
Hi, good evening. I'm from India. We work along with SVIC. We are a big innovation center, a UK-based outfit operating in UK, Middle East, and India. So yeah, we want to really know the new business models coming out of Silicon Valley and the valuable information that all of you are contributing to our community of entrepreneurs and enterprises. It's very interesting to be updated and keep in touch with all of you. Thank you very much for having me and asking for that. Thank you.
Absolutely. Welcome to you as well. What about Abdul? Or maybe Jose Carlos or Abdul, sorry.
Yes, yeah, again, I am with Jay. Okay. So part of the Big Innovation Center, again, the same discussion. So awesome. Happy to hear everyone. Thank you.
All right, welcome. What about Ray Bell?
Sorry?
Ray Bell, the next person, sorry. I was reading the username. Ray Bell?
I'm from India.
Oh, is that your okay, got it. Welcome to you, Abdul.
I think there was Abdul answering in between.
Yeah. All right, so next one, Aisha Al-Mahari. I think we just 4 more, so let's wrap things up soon. Aisha or Nicola, do you want to introduce yourself?
Good morning, it's Nicola. I'm from New Zealand, and my role here in New Zealand is the Director of Strategy for Merge Aotearoa, which is a healthcare organisation. We deliver mental health and addictions. So I'm on the program to get a little bit of inspiration and to think about new and different ways of delivering healthcare over here in little old New Zealand.
Fantastic. Welcome from New Zealand.
Thanks, Chantal.
Next one, Monica. Oh, go ahead.
Okay. Good evening. This is Aisha Al-Mahri. I'm the Chief Nursing Officer in Abu Dhabi Health Service Company from UAE. So Abu Dhabi Health Service Company is a public sector that operate all the public healthcare sector in terms of the hospitals, inpatients, outpatients in Abu Dhabi Emirates, which is the largest in the region. Now we are actually going through a big optimization, especially post-COVID. And one of the things that we are also having is utilizing the technology and the innovation in terms of improving the healthcare services. One of the challenges that we are facing, because as during the COVID pandemic, and now we are having a quick recovery plan in terms of finance as well. So how we are aligning that with the high cost of utilizing the technology in the healthcare service. So I think this course is really helpful, and just to have an insight, though lots of talks and examples are with the industries which is far away from the healthcare sector. But anyway, I'm trying to grasp what are the benefits that can help me. Thank you.
Yeah, a bunch of things are definitely reusable. So hopefully you get some insights. Welcome. So I think that there are a couple more people, Monica and Jose Carlos Santoro, I think. If you want to introduce yourself.
Hi.
Okay. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Or maybe Monica, go ahead first.
So I'm with a company called Ethos IQ in Houston, Texas. We've got several things that we're working on. Particularly, what I'm working on is in the marketing department for. We're calling it a center of excellence that we're trying to build. It's essentially just a way that we're trying to connect companies that, like call center companies and counties that are needing to grow economically, and connecting them, and then using our data as a way to help that company kind of optimize their systems and see where they're kind of bleeding and where they can fix that.
Awesome. Fantastic. Welcome, Monica. So the last person, I believe, is Jose. Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. So I'm Jose Carlos Santos. I'm from Angola, Africa. I believe you still have Miguel to call. You're skipping people, but no problem. So I'm Jose Carlos Santos from Angola, Africa. We work with innovation, open innovation, and startups. And in startups, we run acceleration programs for fintechs, e-commerce, and other verticals. So we're here on the program just to broaden up our knowledge and also to network and connect.
Awesome. Welcome, Jose. Yeah, I'm sorry, apologies if I'm skipping some of you guys. It did seem like the group was a little smaller at the beginning, and I was just going through the names on top, the R on top. So maybe next time I'll go through a spreadsheet. But if you want to introduce yourself, go ahead and do it on chat, and I'll make sure to welcome you at the end. And to be honest, I really like to ask who my audience is before a presentation, because I took some notes. And if you guys connect with me later on LinkedIn or you send me an email, I'm able to have some context and see how can I best help you. All right, so with that said, let's get started with the presentation itself. So I'm gonna be sharing my screen. Hopefully you all see it. And here we are. So welcome everybody. I'm gonna present you today the digital transformation at Amazon. So Amazon is a company I'm currently working at. Before I present you what are the things that we do, digital transformation, some of the best practices, frameworks, and examples, let me introduce myself pretty quickly. So here, my name is Chantal Cox. I'm originally from Europe. I'm half Swedish, half French, and I was raised in Spain. So I just came to the US 8 years ago, and I came here for school. After I finished my degree of architecture in France and engineering in Spain, I got a Fulbright to come to Berkeley, and I got a master in computer science. And I did a specialization on machine learning. I was really passionate about self-driving cars, so that's what drove me here. After that, during that time process, I started several startups, and one is still alive, actually, still functioning. We have 30 employees, and we're currently profitable. I've worked as a PM, so as a product manager lead at different companies, as you mentioned earlier. Credit Karma, Microsoft, eBay, Adobe, some of the companies that you would hear probably from Silicon Valley. So I have been able to do product in all these companies and seeing all these differences, how they approach different products. And now I am a principal product manager at Amazon, basically building businesses within Amazon. So that's a little bit about me. So before we get started in digital transformation at Amazon, I wanted to give you a fun fact about Amazon. So this is one of the only PowerPoints that I did this year because, believe it or not, Amazon has banned the use of PowerPoints. It's the only organization that I worked at that does not use PowerPoints whatsoever to communicate, which is actually, I think, pretty unusual, especially in Silicon Valley, where we like to really sell our ideas to others, especially in an organization. So out of all the companies I worked at, besides this PowerPoint, no PowerPoint policy, what makes Amazon so different? So what I'll go through is what I believe are 14 very important principles that Amazon has established since its start. And they've been iterating on these principles. And I think the list now is pretty solid. And the way Jeff Bezos talks about this list is I'm happy to change those principles, guiding principles to guide us to build businesses and products at Amazon. But they have to be better than the ones that exist. And to be honest, it is really like a Bible here at Amazon. Everybody has those values printed on the wall. Everybody talks on meetings about, hey, you are exemplifying this value. You're evaluated on performance monthly on this specific metrics, on specific values, sorry. And growth, hiring, all of it, as well as product and businesses follow this guidelines. So I think that those can be applied to all businesses. I heard some of the healthcare participants here, or even finance. So I believe that you can apply some of those to your organizations, and they're really interesting to talk about. So let's get started. So the first one, something that is really interesting is the customer obsession. We all know that companies care about customers, but to different degrees, right? Some companies have this top-down approach where management decides what the bigger initiatives, through consulting companies, or they tap on into what's happening in the world through conferences and conversations with some other leaders, and they decide what they want to work on, and that kind of goes down. And managers need to tie their initiatives to that. The way Amazon works is there's no top-down initiatives. We have to figure out what are the customer issues, opportunities, or problems. And from that, build it up. So build a business case, build a total addressable market, a financial projection, everything that starts from the customer up and not the opposite, which makes sure that whatever we're building is actually tied to a customer problem that has a big market, an opportunity, versus something that a leader heard in a conversation as something that we should be grasping just because of the possible competitors and to fight those competitors. So we're not focused on the competitors, we focus on the customer. The second one is the ownership. We don't ever say at Amazon, that's not my job. I've heard that in prior companies I worked at where, hey, I'm an engineer, this is what I do. I realized that there was one participant here that was a full stack engineer, Devin, I believe, right? And it's really interesting what you're doing, right? Of learning beyond your role. In a lot of companies, people would just stay, especially I think in Europe, people are very, very vertical, especially in Spain when I grew up, like, that's my job. I'm good at this thing and don't ask me to do anything else. This company at Amazon, we want people to learn about different things. So for me, I'm a product leader, but I'm also, if I need to code, I code. If I need to query something in a database, I do. If I need to talk to customer on the phone as customer service, I do it. If I need to be in a sales call, I go for it. So there's never something you say, that's not my job. I think this is an attitude that's very, very particular to this company. The next one is invent and simplify. So it's very important that people invent, but invention can be really complex. And that, you probably heard some friends or contacts or colleagues that have said, hey, you know what, we should totally drive, build a car. And this is kind of like what I'm thinking, this is the vision, right? What makes a good leader and an innovative leader at Amazon is not the capability to project yourself only 5 years from now, but to be able to say, this is the first step, the first minimum viable product, the first piece that will validate my vision. And that is what we're going to do. And those are the minimal resources that you need. So people are praised at Amazon for being able to develop concepts with the minimum amount of resources, very, very lean, very, very frugal, and be able to validate those versus getting to build an iPhone, right? That is not as rewarded as somebody who's able to do some stepping stones with minimal resources. That is really, really admired at Amazon. This one is really interesting, the are right a lot. So when you see people have been at the company for 10 years, they're not at a company because they're friends with other people or they got there and they just stay there because they're just cruising. People stay at Amazon for a long period of time are right a lot. And that means that there's a huge turnover. For example, at my level, 85% of people turn over after a year at Amazon because it's so hard to prove yourself continuously. You got to be right a lot. You got to be proving yourself day after day. And so you got to have good instincts, good judgment, good leadership. And those three things need to be hand in hand. You got to demonstrate those daily. Being right a lot is not luck. There is a lot of, everybody says, well, that you got lucky. Well, there is some component of luck, but there's a lot of work in data. And so the data and the customers. So if you have those customers' problems, you have data on the volume, the frequency and of this problem and a good analysis, you're able to be right a lot more. This one is the next one, learn and be curious. It goes hand in hand with the one I said earlier of going beyond your role, right? So at Amazon, we work very long hours. You probably heard that already, but it is pretty efficient. And the extra time that we do have, we like to spend it to be like masters of our industry. For example, my current business is to work on streaming. So I work, imagine Zoom, while we're doing, we have Prime Video, so Netflix, Prime Video, and we do streaming through Twitch. So I work in that ecosystem. And so I continuously participate in conferences with Netflix leaders, with Hulu, with Disney, so all the big players, and I'm consistently tapping to know what they're doing, what they're going to be thinking about, how do we have a competitive advantage. So you constantly got to be learning and be curious about your industry. Hire and develop the best. That is probably one of the hardest. You probably, if you are a manager, you know how hard it is to hire and develop the best. Amazon is really a tough environment because there's a lot of A-type people. So people who like to get shit done and who are good at what they do. It is very important. We call it bar raisers here at Amazon. So it's very important for us to constantly raise the bar. So the person who has the highest bar raiser rating in our company, which means that you make good hiring decisions, it means that you hire people that are actually delivering and they're good performers, you actually are, you can veto people into the company. So if you are part of a panel and that person does not meet your bar raising, you'll have a veto on, even if everybody else thinks this is a good hire. So it is, you would think it's a little bit hard or a tough culture, but thankfully, because of that bar, we do not have people cruising or people that are just there just because they don't want to develop their skills or learn more, right? We have constantly people who love what they do, who want to learn, who want to go to the next level. So it is not for everybody, but it definitely is an environment where you don't get bored. Next one is think big. We talked about vision, right? A lot of times this think big is only left for those C-level executives. At my company and at my level, I'm able to write every 3 months documents with 5-year visions and have plans to execute those visions that get approved by the C-level. So it is really empowering to be able to have that power, especially in a big company as Amazon. So you think that that comes all for Jeff and that they're those VPs and that's pretty much everything, but no, not really. You got to obviously own that thinking big. Then the bias fraction, you probably already heard that one about Amazon. We like to work fast. And so that is because we work in the industry of also deliveries of, you know, Prime Day, Prime Today shipping, Prime Now, Prime Yesterday, right? It's when is the next thing that's even faster, right? You even order something, you get it on your hand in seconds, right? That's the vision of Amazon. So in order to get that to happen, you need to be really aligning all the pieces. And because we work in such a big organizations at Amazon, almost 500,000 employees, how do you actually move all these components at the right pace? It's a lot of like chess playing. That's why I like the little icon there, because you got to think ahead of time. So you got to have approvals from legal, from different teams. You need to align with financials. You need to align. So you need to have this multi-layer roadmaps in your head constantly for every initiative that you have. So it is really complex, and there are issues sometimes, especially, you know, during the holiday or when there's a lot of people on their platform that we are launching, or we have legal. I'm working with right now with the studios to get titles, so licensing. Those businesses go at different pace. So how do you adjust, and how do you make sure that you overcome any roadblocker on the way? This one, frugality, is a one that makes a lot of people smile, because you think, well, Amazon has so much money, you guys must have incredible offices. And well, the truth is the office, it doesn't really matter anymore because we're all working from home. But what's funny is that the only thing that's free at Amazon's headquarters is white paper and black coffee. Literally those are, and probably just pens. That's literally all the things that are for free. Everything else you gotta buy. So it's a very frugal company. The only thing that are on the walls are these principles, and that's it. There's no art, there's no funky things. So what is interesting is when I work out of the Twitch office in San Francisco, or I used to before the pandemic, and there we do have a little bit of a different treat. So we do have lunch, we do have breakfast and dinner. So we have a full cuisine, and that is for free. So we do have different perks because it is a company of Amazon. So if you ever want to work for Amazon, consider that. Go for one of the smaller companies that Amazon owns. The next one is dive deep. So I would say this is a very important one. Leaders and a lot of companies I worked out prior were only able to talk about a lot of topics very high level. And they would always invite their head of engineering or head of data science to talk about specific topics, but they would not know about it. For Amazon, this is completely different. As a leader, you need to be understanding. So I am asked sometimes, like, why was the bug that was the issue for the launch? Or why did we delay 2 weeks and it was an engineering problem? Or what's going on with our databases right now? Why are the pipelines not running properly? And we're not able to backfill the data fast enough. So all the things you would think that a leader should not be answering, and we do. So it's very important for Amazon leaders to be as knowledgeable as possible. Obviously, there is a certain level, but at least for the most important things, you need to prioritize and know all the important things about your business. Earn trust. I think this is important for everybody, for every company, but it is more important at Amazon because trust is not given. So when you are in a group like Amazon, where people are performing, people are delivering, if you do not deliver, if you don't reply to a message in the next 24 hours, if you do not follow up on an action item, the trust is not given. So because it's not given and you have not demonstrated that gets taken away. So that's why so many people only make it 3 months on Amazon. It is such a turnover. You need to be accountable. You're held accountable, and trust is not like, welcome to Amazon, welcome to the team. It's more like, okay, you gotta get started here. We'll see how you do. So it's a little bit of a different attitude that you would expect, in other companies like eBay, for example, like really, like very soft cultures, but this one is not that one. So it's very important to know that. Finally, deliver results. That goes hand in hand with making good decisions, right? We talked about how important it is Amazon to be right a lot. That is results. So results, it's not about improving things and getting the business to move. We have every 6 months to define a 6-pager document that's called like OP1 that gets all the OP1s of different organizations get grouped into one OP1 per company, and every OP1 per company becomes an OP2 that gets sent to Jeff Bezos. And so Jeff Bezos has an overview of all the OP1s and the OP2. And those are the metrics and the high level business metrics, and everything needs to be aligned across organizations. And we do that every 6 months. And that's on top of our current job. So it is really intense, but it helps us make sure that we deliver quality that is aligned and it's timely, so that there are not different orgs doing the same thing or not being aligned on different initiatives that could be working together. So it takes some time, but it is really, really valuable. We also have have backbone, disagree, and commit. And I think this is one of the things that I didn't know before I learned Amazon, and I believe that it can be useful for some of you here. So in the past, when we had an argument, it was all about convincing the other. So you would have a page full of arguments, or you would have your 3 points that you want to, kind of explain, and you want to convince the other person, and it would be kind of like this fight, right? And sometimes it would become a political game between, hey, this is my org has more power, or I give you some headcount and trade-offs. At Amazon, we respectfully disagree. So you would hear, that was one of the things that surprised me the most at the beginning. You join a company, a team, and then you're in a meeting and people say, I disagree with this. This is not, I don't agree. And it's not like the other person is trying to convince. It becomes I disagree because of these 2 reasons. And the other person says, okay, that said, this is the initiative we're going to do now. We're going to reevaluate and next date. And this is when I'm happy to reconsider. So it is very interesting to see how disagreements are handled, and people commit. So you hear that a lot, saying, I completely disagree with you, but my team is committed to implementing this piece of work for you. And it doesn't create any strange vibe in the room. It is totally okay to have that attitude. We also have insist on highest standards. So this is, you probably heard a lot of the theme through the past principles, but raising the bar, driving the team to deliver high quality products. We have a tool at Amazon called Phone Tool, which is a little bit of a yellow pages. I don't know if you guys have this concept in your country, but where you have literally like a picture. It's like a Facebook, where you have a picture, you know exactly, when they vested their first stock, how long they've been at Amazon for, all the positions they had at Amazon for how long, who the managers were, the badges. So badges are super important at Amazon. People get badges for accomplishing incredible results, for being a bar raiser, for being a speaker at a conference. So you start collecting, it's a little bit this gamification, right? Collecting badges. And so it's kind of like a little bit like your military badge. And people are really proud of that. So I think that it's very unusual, and you can also look at everybody else's profile publicly. So you have literally all the employees at Amazon there, and it's very interesting. You also have a blurb that explains who they are, what they're interested in, their hobbies. So it helps break the ice. But it is one of those tools that demonstrates this value of like the highest standard and how people are rewarded by the length of their employment, but also like the rewards. Well, that sounds like a lot, isn't it? It's intense, but I hope that you got some value out of these principles. And guess what? It works. It does actually work, because Amazon right now is valued as $1 trillion company. So it has started in a garage, and it became an online bookstore, as you all know. And then now it's the Seattle huge company that is even on TV every day. I don't see it one day in Silicon Valley that I don't see a truck from Prime. So it's jaw dropping, like they say. So it is, all these principles do work. They do create strong businesses, and they do create a lot of money. And actually, I love this little sentence here. It says, never before has a company been worth so much for so long while making so little money. So 92% of its value is due to profits expected by the end of this year. So it is really interesting to see how we think about the distant horizon. The value that you see right now, the stock, is not even close to what we think we can get. So it is really about people like, oh, Amazon is a beast. Well, we have another level of beast that is coming up. And I think that through the other slides that I have, I'll show you a little bit where we're up to. So you must be wondering, like, okay, all this money and all these visions and all this stuff, but how do you get there, right? So if you look at this slide, you can see that this is, I don't have the most recent data, by the way, because it's confidential, but this is close enough just to give you an overview of like how the businesses are growing. And you can see here the Amazon's net revenue in Q2 2018 and in Q2 2019. So imagine this a plus 50% on all those by now. So you can see that we have some online store, third-party seller services, Amazon Web Services, the physical store, subscription services, and others. So as you can see that Amazon Web Services is not as big, obviously, as the online stores, but is growing aggressively. And I can tell you that this business, especially with COVID and the cloud, is actually like growing incredible rates. And then we have the subscription services. Amazon loves subscription services because that's how you, for example, Prime, right? That's how you get the customer to the door of Amazon. And then you can offer all these other services on top of it. So, and all that gets you into this Amazonian journey that we call, right? Where you start at a point and then you become a forever customer of Amazon for everything, because it's that trust, right? You trust it for one thing and then it delivers, keep delivering. So you trust it more and more and more until it becomes kind of part of your life for everything. But it's hard to keep up with the competitors, right? So if you look here on an overview of the competitors, being everyone's enemies is exhausting. We talked about earlier that we're not focalized on the competitors, but we do keep an eye on it. And if you think about all the businesses that we're leading, we have a lot of competitors. Think about, look, Amazon Web Services, we have IBM and Microsoft. They've been doing cloud for so much longer. Google even. In payments, we have Visa, the biggest, American Express, Fulfillment by Amazon, which is another big business growing right now. We have FedEx, UPS, which are some of the bigger delivery companies here in the US. For Amazon Prime, which is video, which is where I work, you have Netflix, you have Hulu, you have even Disney. So you have literally the bigger competitors, Alibaba, right, in China, competing with Amazon.com. We are in all our verticals, we are actually competing against the top one in the world. So it is exhausting, but that's what it takes to be the most innovative company and to become kind of this company that's gonna lead the world in so many ways. So in 2017, Jeff said that Amazon had 3 pillars. And he was looking for a 4th one. So he said that one was the Amazon Marketplace, so the online business, Prime, which is this Prime delivery today, Prime Now, and then Amazon Web Services, right? And he said, well, those are fantastic 3 ideas. He would be lucky to have them, but I'm thinking of finding a 4th, and he was not sure how to serve customers better through innovation, but he said he wanted to try to get at the 4th one. So Marketplace, Prime, Amazon Web Services. Well, guess what? Now Amazon has 7 more verticals in 2020, and it's still growing the other 3 that we mentioned. So if you look at the core flywheel of Amazon businesses, those are the businesses that we have. So we have Amazon Marketplace, which is the online business. We have Amazon Prime, which is the delivery business. We have Kindle, AWS, Fulfillment by Amazon, Audible, which is the listening books online. Amazon Studios, which is like Netflix Studios, like Hollywood. Amazon Robotics, Alexa, Whole Foods is our one of the biggest supermarkets here in the US. So as you can see, that we are literally in a lot more businesses that he even anticipated. So this is how Amazon is dominating the world in so many ways. And how did he get there, right? So there are 5 strategic choices that Amazon focalized on. And so the first one was to expand a marketplace. So they wanted to make sure that beyond North America, where it is so successful, they could get into markets like the UK or Germany. And it was all about turning inventory quickly to enable this strong cash generating operating cycle. And so especially with the delivery. So in the US, we have space for fulfillment centers and we have reliable sources of transportation, right, of goods. But in other countries, it might not be the case. Implementing that abroad was very challenging. Develop key platforms. So think about, Alexa, studios, experimenting with Fresh and Go, extending payments. So really developing those platforms to enable other businesses as well. 3, improve the customer experience. So here's all about process efficiencies, right? To enhance the customer experience. Reinvent efficiencies. So leverage all that scale that Amazon has to reduce the variable cost per unit. So think about all that. How do you tap into this scale? And finally, develop the innovation culture that we talked about, innovative, customer obsessed, and everybody learns about everybody else's kind of job. So there's never one person is missing, the business is going down. So let's go through these businesses. So first, Amazon Marketplace. So it started with this, right? You probably all know a lot of biggest range of inventory, cheap pricing, good reviews, right? Personalized recommendations, free delivery. You have the one-click purchase that is a pattern from Amazon. Nobody else can have in one click. You can purchase something. And finally, the Prime membership. So those were like the breakthroughs of Amazon Marketplace. And this is kind of like how they thought about this flywheel, right? So the Amazon.com, this online business, the way it grows is, first you have a selection. We talked about the base flywheel, which is this one. Selection, it's convenient, great customer experience that generates traffic, that because there's so many people wanting goods, sellers also coming to the platform, and that becomes a flywheel by itself. And that spins the growth. And that growth enables Amazon to lower the cost structure, which allows them to lower the prices, think about cost per unit, and a better customer experience, which also taps into the traffic and sellers because lower prices and more a deeper breadth of products. And then you plug into the things like Prime membership, like free fast fulfillment, video music, Alexa. So you can order anything just talking to your smart device, and that becomes an incredible flywheel. Really recommend doing flywheels for your business. This is exactly how we do it. It's never linear. You gotta think how the thing is gonna run even when you step off the gas. So how is that digital transformation? So digital enables this limitless inventory, right? So that's obviously a little bit up to date, not up to date, this is from 2019, but Amazon had a total of 900 million products on sale on its platform in 10 plus segments. So this diversification strategy. The second one was this retention strategy, which is to boost customer care. So Amazon is well known. If you ever had a problem with Amazon with a product and you contact customer service, it takes about 30 seconds to talk to somebody, to get somebody on the line or in chat. So it's incredible. And finally, digital allows high margin, lowers prices. As you know, everything that is volume, right? And you have volume as the AWS. You're able to lower prices once you have high margin. So if you think about how do we enable all of that, right? Look at the fulfillment infrastructure just at a glance of how it went from this is the US population living within 20 miles of a fulfillment center. And you can see that the growth is exponential here. We have these Amazon fulfillment centers that are now probably, this is obviously not up to date, but now there's basically purple everywhere. So imagine these huge warehouses that you see sometimes in those movies. They are everywhere in the US. So if you look also at the sales mix of this Amazon Marketplace, so we have first-party sales and third-party sales. So third-party are sellers that come into the platform, and some of the items are what they call FDA fulfill, which means that I sell, let's say, this mug to Amazon. I pay Amazon $1 per mug, and they pack it and send it to the person, and are responsible for the entire fulfillment. So this is kind of like the breakdown per category, obviously not up to date, but you can see a little bit the trends that are still the same. So there are packages that are sold and fulfilled by third parties. So I ship and I own my own product, and sold by third party and fulfilled by Amazon, and then sold and fulfilled by Amazon. So as you know, as you might not know, this actually category, the orange one, is actually booming right now. People don't want to have to have warehouses in a lot of places in the world, especially when it's really dense, like Japan, or in other countries, like big cities like London. So this is done by Amazon. So that's where they're able to actually even increase the cost. So they have a lot of power there. And so with personalization, we talked about it's personalized, but Amazon took it to another level. Now personalization is incredible. I don't know if you ever went to the homepage and purchased something, but I have. And I was amazed to know that from all the items and all the things at Amazon, how do you know the one thing that I want to purchase next? And so they know about the quality you're looking for, the brands that you like, what you've purchased in the past. So they're looking at a lot of different history and different things that you clicks, actions that you take in, returns to be able to recommend to you your marketplace. And so what you should be buying. So it's interesting to see that if 3 different people log in, they completely have a completely different homepage. And now there's all these devices as well. So we were looking at this flywheel and how we had Prime membership. Well, now we have Alexa. So just in one tap, like the dash button, right? You have it on your fridge, you just tap on it and you're able to order your diapers for your kid. You don't even need to go to the website. You tap that physical button and it orders and you get the diapers the next day. Or the Echo devices. So Amazon is getting to the homes where kids, I don't know if you heard that on some videos online, but kids say Alexa sometimes before they say mom, because they hear parents say all the time Alexa, to say Alexa, buy me this, or Alexa, look for that information. And so they know the device, right? And they say, Alexa, play this music. So, and that is also tied back to the marketplace, because you can say, Alexa, buy me, I don't have soap, buy soap. And that is connected to the marketplace. So it is really empowering the flywheel and bringing it to another level. And this is another interesting one, which is the private label. So you can imagine that after fulfilling all these items and seeing how many items are saying of one category, Amazon would obviously think about, well, can we actually do these items ourselves? We don't need to, we can actually compete. And so that's where Amazon is expanding on brands and categories. And this is, it's a little of a controversial business because Amazon has so much data about what is getting sold, what is stuck in a warehouse, that they're able to, they could take over the world if they wanted, right? They have the ability to know exactly all the items that are going to be sold. They have the projections, and they could say, well, now we're gonna create these batteries, right? And so you think now in some categories, the share that Amazon has is just incredible. It's even bigger than the bigger brands in the market. And it goes beyond that, where we talked about even enabling different platforms. And so for different businesses, for different countries where maybe there's not the credit card, the systems that work in the US. So they enable things like Amazon Cash, right? Where you can shop at Amazon with cash, or an Amazon paying experience that's only is specific to different countries, depending on the payment systems. They're even enabling this new experiences in stores, right? For so many years, you've been used to go to a store and go buy in a certain way, and Amazon is really tapping into that business and really changing how things are done, right? And there's even another level to it, which is, as you all know, social media is not only about finding things that you like, but when you do find things that you like, where do you buy those, right? And Amazon is also tapping into that, where if you find pictures on your phone or Instagram, for example, right? A lot of millennials like that. You can just say, hey, I want to buy what this guy has on their picture. And Amazon is enabling technology to do that. So image recognition to be able to tag and label all this data and actually redirect you back to the marketplace we're talking about. And so Amazon is really trying to tap into all the possible businesses. So think about WeChat, right? WeChat is a very famous platform in China that allows you to do so many things, right? From chatting to buying to recommending to, it's kind of like a Yelp. It's a mix of different companies from the US. And Amazon is also trying to tap into the business. So there's not a single business or opportunity that Amazon is scared of. I think even about how they are changing, we talk about the stores, about the marketplace, and then how it's even changing things like bookstores, right? Bookstores or Amazon bookstores, I don't know if you've been in one, is the intelligent version of, like the optimized version of a bookstore. You have reviews on every single book that are an aggregation of the best of all the most heard things about that title. If you log into your profile on those little tablets here, it tells you exactly what aisle they recommend you to go. It's really, really fascinating. So Whole Foods, right? When they purchase Whole Foods, is also a strategic way for them to be to also give perks to the Prime customers. So I go to Whole Foods and I have a 5% discount, 10% sometimes in items. So it is really, again, this slide we were talking about, how you start at a point and then you end up not only marketplace, right? You end up going to the Amazon bookstore, you end up going to the Whole Foods, right? You end up going to Amazon all day long, buying on Amazon all day, and you didn't even know it. And they even evolved this stores. We talked about here on how you are as a Prime customer getting all these perks. But you also have these stores called Amazon Go, which are fascinating. I've been to the one in San Francisco a few times, and you just go in with your phone. Literally, this is exactly what the entrance looks like. You just go in with your phone, pass through this kind of like very simple security where you just put your phone with this lower code into that on the side, this kind of thing, and then just let you in. And whenever you take all the items, you put it in your bag, your own bag if you want, and just come out of the store. You don't even have to see anyone. You don't have to check out. You don't have to do anything. They just know exactly all the items that you purchased. And trust me, we'll try to trick it, and it's not. It is not. I have not been able to trick it yet. Then we have the Amazon Prime. So you all know that it started with this delivery boxes that get to your door in 2 days, and now it's evolved to all these other things. So it's a membership that started with packages, and now, and this is where I work, right? The Prime Video business. You have Prime Music, you can tap into thousands of titles. So just by paying this, depending on the cost in your country, but like $10 a month or so, you get access not only to this 2-day shipping, but you have all these other perks. So it's kind of like this credit card that you get at some point, and you have this all these discounts in stores or membership awards, right? So they're doing the same strategy of building so much value into the product that you would just never cancel it because you get so much for your buck. So that's kind of like just a quick overview, probably hard to read, but I'll send you the slides after this talk, where you can see basically all this overview of the products here. By the way, Irina, do we have a couple more minutes? Because I know that we're at time.
No, you can. You have a few more minutes if you'd like to continue. Go ahead.
Cool. So I probably won't go through case studies since we're at a time, but let me just go through these few last slides. So Amazon has been hyping up its Prime Air drone. So you think about all these technologies, how they deliver in different ways. They're really tapping into new technologies and new ways to deliver. So for example, here for healthcare products, right? Being able to tap into new ways to reach places, especially when there's traffic. And being able to overcome challenges that nobody else has been able to do. And so they have some concept vehicles like this that you might see one day flying on the floor. So if you think about, when we talk about the Prime membership value, is how much value do you get, right, for a Prime member? And then that's the revenue that they have right now for a non-member in average. This is for a Prime member, and this is the ambition. So we will provide you so much value that you will do everything at Amazon. That's kind of like how they're thinking about it. So think about all these businesses that we talked about. It's a constant innovation. You see new ideas from Amazon popping up every day because we're so many and there's so many people working in different geographies. So think about partnerships and different ideas that work for different locales. So it's really interesting to do research about where you live, what are the latest Amazon initiatives. So now, for example, in the US, there's a lot of packages stolen when packages are delivered outside in the residential area. So that now they have this concept of opening your home or your garage and dropping the packages in. Complete things that you never heard before. So I don't know if we have time to go through Amazon Studios. I want to maybe open it up to questions. Sorry, guys, I didn't expect us to take so much time to do the introductions, but I'll send you the slides after this presentation. Maybe I wanted to open up for questions, and I'm happy to reply also via email.
Chantal, I had two questions. This is Devin, by the way.
Yeah, sure.
First one, I know you talked about the 13 or 15 principles in the beginning, right? Mm-hmm. How do you measure those? Those are behaviors, obviously. How do you measure behaviors? Yeah, so some of those are, we have a lot of like qualitative kind of feedback. So every 6 months, you have to send a survey to all the people you work with, and they rate you on these values. And then you have a meeting, it's called a 360 review with your manager, and then they go through every single value and have you rated compared to people at your level.
So that's one way. The other way is monthly reviews with your boss. So you have goals. Every single person on Amazon has its own goals. So for me, I have a one-pager with all my goals that I want to achieve, all the actions I'm taking to achieve those goals, and make sure they're tied to those specific principles, and the actions and results. So you think about those 360s, feedback that my boss receives, and results of our products.
The second question I have, maybe three actually. The second question, I know you talked about the PowerPoint. It's a pretty known thing in the industry. So how do you present your ideas or solutions when you don't have a tool like that?
What do you mean not having a tool?
So, for example, you said the PowerPoint is kind of killed in, right?
Oh, yeah.
So what do you use? What is an alternate solution for you?
Oh yeah, absolutely. I'm happy to send you kind of like a template document so you can see what I'm talking about. It's a 6-pager document. We have different document types. That we have the PRFAQ, we have the product spec, we have different docs that have been like work on it and iterated on several years to make sure it was perfect. So for example, the PRFAQ is a structured 6-pager doc. Everything has to be 6-pager with 1 inch on the sides, font 9 calibre, and it needs to be spaced out one line, and then basically there is a PR, so you need to write an article of like the vision of like if it's published in the media and Financial Times or something 5 years from now, what is it? And then the FAQs, all the questions going from the walking backwards, which is another document that you include in this document, which goes from what is the customer, what is the customer problem, why is the opportunity, what do we need to do now, how does your initiative tie to all the others? It's a template basically, and it covers all the key questions that leaders would want to know about this initiative.
And would you be able to share that, or is it confidential?
I'm not sure. I have to let me circle back with HR. I've never actually shared it outside of Amazon. I've not seen it online either, so I might not be able to share it, but you can get the idea. It's obviously the problem with sharing those documents is that I cannot share the content, so it will only be the questions. But I'm pretty sure I could share the questions. I don't think that would be a yeah.
So one final question from me. I know you talked about Amazon Studios. Can you just take a minute on that, like share with us? Is it something like Pixar or something else?
Yeah, absolutely. So Amazon Studios is, I work very closely with them because it's basically the business that Prime Video taps into right now. And so you think about the budgets of, we have the content, right? So Amazon Netflix in 2017, the content budget was $6 billion. And Amazon Studios was 4.5 billion. So we have more budget than HBO, ABC, and NBC together. So, and it's now, obviously, we're in 2020. You can imagine all these numbers are a lot higher. We are trying to compete against, Netflix originals. We have Amazon originals now, and it's tapping into all these. We know exactly who is viewing, what they're viewing, the volume of people viewing something, and how many seasons is the breadth and depth of seasons. And so once you know this and what are the factors that determine why people like something, then you're able to have all the components to produce your own show, own originals. And that's a lower cost than securing licenses from content providers. So what Amazon is trying to do is rely as little as possible on third parties. So either fulfillment centers, UPS, right? They're trying to build their own delivery system. And the same with content, right? Content is expensive. Content is limited by geo availability. It's complicated. It takes time. There's bigger competitors with not more money, but definitely a lot of money to put in. So having your own shows is a lot of power.
Thank you, Chantal.
Awesome. Do we have more questions?
I have a question.
Sure.
Representative from DLL.
Yes,
So
sir.
one of the things that's come up, and it actually came up on a webinar earlier this morning before you started, was the ethics conundrum of AI. And I listened to what you had to say, which is your ambition is to extract $10,000 out of every consumer because you're overwhelming them with value. And is there a contra argument, or is there a group within your organization that challenges you to say, should you actually do that? Because isn't that, in a way, exploiting someone's humanity?
Yeah, this is a very good question. And trust me, I am from Europe. And I grew up with a very ethical, a lot of ethics, right? In France, the education, the values, it's not, I would say America, from my experience, has been very like business centric. It's all about like, how do we grow businesses, grow. And ethics kind of like, well, we'll figure it out, right? At some point. Versus I think in Europe, those conversations happen. And because it happens for so long, maybe there's not so much action. Sometimes we think, well, let's innovate. Let's hurry up with innovation. I always want to say that the Europe-American balance would be the ideal. I think that there is, and you see here the crisis in Silicon Valley a little bit now happening with the hearings. I don't know if you heard about the hearings of the CEOs in the Congress. From Facebook, Apple, all the social media platforms. You probably watched The Social Dilemma on Netflix talking about, the power of social media and how it manipulates people's brains and what they think. Those are scary thoughts. I'm driving conversations in my company about these topics because I believe there are the important topics to discuss. And I think that we need to make sure we have some tenets, some things we believe in that are guiding principles for the products that we build. And we do have them at some level, but I don't think they are necessarily targeted as they could be for ethics, especially as we become this, as we gather so much information about people, it becomes scary, right? You have so much information about someone, about who they have in their household, what do they buy for years and years, all that history. What they shop at the store. And I haven't presented you the slides, but I had slides about where Amazon's going, right? And we're going to healthcare. We're going into very, very, very ethics sensitive spaces, right? Because sharing information about what you ate or what you're buying or what pills you're taking and how much do you weigh, or it's another level of information, right? And so to me, it seems like there's, or even like I was talking to another leader the other day at Facebook. They're like, well, we're trying to get maybe into the business of doing our own passports, of becoming the Facebook ID. And you think at some point, if not already, these companies are more powerful than the government and then states. Jeff is so rich, he could buy entire states in the US. And that's very scary, right? If you think about that. And so I think that these conversations need to happen. It's one of the things that doesn't allow this conversation to happen maybe is the speed, right? We talked about the lack of vacation or like speed of execution at Amazon. We are always in 10,000 things. We're always going to the next thing. And that frenzy doesn't allow you to stop and be like, hey, what am I doing, right? For me, I do that. I force myself to take time off to reflect. And I think Bill Gates is one of the persons that inspired me to do that, right? Take your technology out, to go to a retreat home and think, what are you doing? What are my businesses doing? Are my ethics, my values still mapped to what I do? And if not, how do I readjust? How do I make sure the people I hire are incredible, type A, but also they have values, right? And they strongly believe those values and they have critical thinking. It's not like just execution machines. So for me, those are things that I believe in, are important, and that we should be conscious about, especially as I grow at Amazon. So
can I ask one follow-up question on that? Because it kind of dovetails into something you said earlier.
Yeah, sure.
Which is, a leader is skeptical when there's a divergence between data and anecdotal messaging. I think that's kind of how I picked it off your screen. Well, if you're an incredibly powerful person who is skeptical, where does that, can you give an example, or what example could you have that like proves that out in a positive way? Because one of the biggest challenges we have right now in the United States is this dismissal of science and the scientific method and the process by which people learn through failure. And that has been completely dismissed culturally, which is creating a crisis in our culture. I don't know how Europeans see it, but as an American who has traveled the world, it's a crisis.
Yeah, it definitely is. And the more I read and I look at the news, it's shocking. It's frightening as well, I would say. I think that there is a lot of value into saying, because we, at least from Amazon perspective, and I'm not a spokesperson, so take that just as a personal opinion, but when you are, when you have so much information and you're a company that believes in the customer and you want to help the customer, which is the mission of Amazon, we're gaining value from a customer, but because we want to be the trusted brand, right? So if you think about now, you go to a doctor, right? Depending on what hospital you go to in the US, it might be a completely different experience. You might have a completely different treatment. But if Amazon aggregates all this data and is able, for example, to tell you, this is from all the data in the United States, the best information from this illness. And this is exactly what you should be doing based on all the information I have. This is doing something for good. I think the fine line that needs to happen here is that it's for good, right? And I do believe Amazon is a for good company, but with power comes politics. And with politics comes the not so good sometimes. And so I think that there is going to be some management, some supervision. There needs to be a forcing function. And I'm happy that there are some hearings. I was listening to all of them with the Apple CEOs, Facebook CEO, Amazon, with the Congress, and hearing they're keeping an eye and making sure that there's no antitrust, and that they're, I think it's important that businesses stay businesses and don't overrule governments. And then and at the end of the day, there's going to be a decision that I think people need to do, which is, what do I trust, right? Who do I trust? And hopefully they would trust what is good for them. And I think I think it's a bigger topic than we have as time, but it's definitely a topic very dear to me. Because it's a little bit frightening. I agree. What's happening in the US right now, the anti-vaxxers, I don't believe in science. And I think that, again, politics has to play a lot into that.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a reason why people don't believe in science. It's because they've been told not to, because people have enough money to tell them that, have the distribution channel to disseminate that information.
Right, and pharmaceutical companies have a lot of power.
The question of when the data disagrees with the anecdote, how do you make sure as leaders that you're listening to the right thing?
Yeah, I think that's definitely a challenge. At least at my company, we believe that we should be talking about StopX. I'm a leader who does drive these conversations. I'm actually driving a conversation next week on the social dilemma with a lot of PM product manager leaders at the company. It's a guided conversation, and it's all tied back to how we build businesses and how we build products at Amazon. And so I do believe that talking about this topics is also planting a seed and making sure people have this ethics and critical mindset when we build businesses. Absolutely.
Well, thank you for that response. I appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Do we have more questions? I have five more minutes.
Hi, Chantal. Yes. Terrific presentation, by the way. I was so engaged. I literally had my kid running around, and I didn't pay attention to her. So thank you so much for that. I would like your opinion on how do you, at least in Amazon, how do you guys differentiate when the problem is execution and not design?
That's a very good question. So just to reframe it, you say one of the problem is execution and not the design. So execution is, it's pretty easy to track in the sense of like timeline, right? So if we don't meet the deadlines, it is either a technical, it's probably a technical bug, or we have not scoped out the roadmap. So the way we see it, look at the things are, the product manager has these documents, right? That needs to be aware of all these tracks. And the engineer has a similar document of all the things that they need to be tracking. So we are pretty good at Amazon of like knowing some of the levers, but we do have bugs. We do have unexpected sign off that we needed from stakeholders. And I think that what we use here, we use technical program managers to track potential road blockers that are going to come, or that come on our way, and how to handle it the best. So we don't think about who is the blocker, but how do we handle it, and how do we handle it fast, and how do we use that as a best practice for the next project. So from all the projects that I've launched, I've had to overcome several challenges, and I think that you build that into your portfolio and like of things that you have to look out for. So it's about like reducing the amount of blind spots, and they're always going to have, but it's all about the attitude. It's not about saying who the hell did this issue, what the hell happened here. It's all about sorry, I have my son, so I have my son here trying to call me. Basically, that's kind of like my 2 cents. So it's all about identifying how can it be resolved versus who it is. Hope it answered your question.
Absolutely, thank you so much.
Awesome. Do we have a last question?
Yes, Chantal, Francisco. What do you think? I was thinking about the presentation. Don't you think Amazon is risking a little bit that having a lot of different core businesses, and you have always your name on it because you have Amazon like a marketplace that we know, and then you have the fresh, and then you have the payments, you have the web services, and don't you think that is too much risky that you have always your name, and some bad experience can make some bad insights for the Amazon name at itself?
I think that because of the volume of people working at Amazon, it does maybe seem a lot, but because of all the businesses that we have, it is actually not that many. And as you can see there, we try maybe like 500 businesses a year. I don't know the exact number, but I know it's a huge amount of markets and of business that we want to get in, and only a few survive, right? So I think that Amazon is all about trying different things and failing at some of them, and it's totally fine, but it's about trying them all in the best way possible with the best strategy possible, and try them regularly. So it's not because something failed once that it's not going to work in a couple of years. So I don't know if that answers your question, but it's kind of like what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Awesome. And feel free, guys. I know we're at time. I just have a very important presentation, 10 minutes. So I need to wrap this up. But if you have more questions, feel free to add me on LinkedIn, to send me an email. I'm going to put my personal email here. Feel free to shoot me an email. I take about 3 to 5 days to reply usually, and for personal matters. And please connect with me on LinkedIn. I have the information about you all. I've written it down, so I'll have some context. And I'm happy to help in any capacity I can. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Chantal, for your wonderful presentation. I know we had a lot of questions here, and thank you so much for extending your time to be able to answer them. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much for joining us for day 5 of our program.
Absolutely. It was really great. And I wish I had more time